Once an ag export powerhouse, farmers in Ukraine continue to struggle as the war with Russia rages around them. Now take a look at this graphic from USDA. It shows production of the major commodities in Ukraine and projects that out through 2034. As you can see, corn, wheat, sunflower seed, sunflower oil, and barley production have all fallen significantly and are expected to remain lower to flat for the next decade. Illinois farmer and philanthropist Howard G. Buffett has been to the front lines of Ukraine a dozen times. He continues to share his experience with farmers and the rural communities with producers here at home as part of his Whistle Stops for Ukraine tour. The stakes remain high as the battle between Russia and Ukraine continues. While here at home,
I'm going back for my 12th trip here in a few weeks.
Howard G. Buffett and the German Marshall Fund continue their Whistle Stops for Ukraine tour this month in Waterford, Pennsylvania, just outside of Erie.
The amount of times that Howard had been to Ukraine personally and some of the experiences that he had had there really do help characterize what's going on.
During a discussion at Troyer Farms, Buffett shared his experience from the roughly 40 days spent on the front lines.
I can't tell you how many farms I've been on in Ukraine where every piece of equipment is destroyed.
His foundation is now on track to spend some $800 million in Ukraine by the end of the year. Money spent on food and machinery as farmers deal with 85,000 pieces of equipment destroyed, grain stolen, and fields bombed or littered with landmines.
The number of acres, the level of damage, and then characterizing the type of damage that farmland's gone through and the amount of equipment that's been destroyed. And then trying to figure out how you would farm around that yourself was pretty powerful.
You know, there's a lot of misunderstandings about agriculture in Ukraine today and what's happening, so we're here to see if we can answer questions and see how farmers feel about it.
For fourth-generation potato farmer Mark Troyer, the conversation was eye-opening.
We sit there and can say, oh, we've got labor issues, we've got weather issues. I mean, one thing, we sure don't have landmines to deal with, and so when you throw that in the mix and to have maybe people roaming the countryside that want to kill you, it sure makes it a little bit eye-opening on how good we have it here.
While Pennsylvania grape grower Nick Mobilia agrees.
I think this is the first time we really heard a lot of the truth about what is going on over there and what the consequences are going to be if we as a civilized society and all the other nations don't get together to lend a hand and put an end to this.
For his part, Buffett is now working on ways to help demine an area roughly the size of Colorado, including experimenting with equipment running over explosives to see how it can be hardened against the blast.
But blowing the stuff up is to understand if we hit something, even though we think we're going to avoid it, if we do hit something, what parts do we have to have? You know, what's it going to take to fix it?
While he's working in Ukraine, these farmers are asking what they can do from Pennsylvania.
I think when I get home, I'm going to call Congressman Kelly up and we're going to have a little talk and let him know what I just found out and what we as the Farm Bureau can do to help him in his job to make sure that our country is doing what we should be doing.
As the debate at home continues, Buffett says he remains focused on the future of farming in Ukraine.
I can tell you, if it doesn't affect someone, they don't care about it. I can guarantee you that. But so our job is to explain why this is affecting and will really affect you in the future.
It's very easy for all of us to kind of get tied up in our own little world here, and I mean, it's planting season, and you know, we sit there and focus on planting our crop and trying to get it in the ground.
And from his view from the front line, Buffett believes the ripples of this conflict are likely to be felt for generations to come.
Yeah, your grandson's going to see a different world based on the outcome of this war.
You can read more about the Whistle Stops for Ukraine tour in the latest issue of Farm Journal magazine and at the website on your screen, gmfus.org/whistlestops. Up next, turning the focus closer to home and just around the corner.